We have one final speaker, but there has been a bit of a snag. She's not quite with us. However, she is Deloitte's Global Unlimited Reality Lead. So we've made a bit of a plan to substitute. I'd now like to welcome you to another dimension of Lisa. This is Lisa Automated.
Hello. My name is Lisa Smith. I'm a partner within Deloitte Digital and privileged to lead our innovative Unlimited Reality practice globally. Unlimited Reality is Deloitte's groundbreaking new offering focused on spatial computing, Web3, like AR and VR, blockchain, and generative AI experience integrations. I'll be joining you there in person soon, but until then, I wanted to scratch the surface on just a small number of experiences we can enable with this new suite of exciting technologies. With spatial experiences, I can be anywhere in the world. I could be taking in some stunning tour sites, or training new employees at the heart of manufacturing processes, or even collaborating with my distant global colleagues on a virtual campus. Oh, I'm getting a call from Will and Dan, who's doing some work in Singapore right now. I better take this. Hey, team.
Hey, Lisa, how's it going? Just wanted to check in and see how we're getting on with the keynote prep.
So I'm actually on stage delivering the keynote right now.
Wow, that's some good timing. Hey, everyone, how's it going? Okay, well, I'll leave you to it and I'll catch you tomorrow.
I can also connect with my good old friends and epic clients, exploring the seas with Maersk, and then getting creative with building blocks at Lego. I can solve my problems of needing to be everywhere. The only downside I can see to this is losing my airline points. But that's all right, because most importantly, I'm saving the planet by cutting out the emissions from being in all of these locations physically, really driving towards a net zero ambition. We want to help you, your customers, and your colleagues to see the value this immersive tech can bring right here, right now. We're helping our clients on a journey to imagine their disruptive opportunities, get inspired to innovate, and then make an impact together. Today, we're going to explore how we engage your customers and workforce by bringing a digital and immersive lens to the art of storytelling. We're going to define how organizations can solve business problems and drive collaboration through spatial experiences. We're going to identify opportunities to use AI, AR, and VR to drive greater efficiencies with your organizations. This virtual Lisa is heading for a cheeky barbecue and craft beer at War Pigs, but don't worry, I've heard she's going to be on stage with you soon, going beyond digital to join you in the room. So what I love about this technology is like all my wildest dreams can come true, because in the last 24 hours, I have managed to have War Pigs 2 times. I got to have it last night with the beer, and then I just had it now, but I did skip the beer this time because I thought I needed to function on this stage. So you might be wondering why you have just been able to look at a virtual Lisa. And to be honest, the fact of the matter is, it's our new reality. Last year, when I was here, I spoke to you about what does it mean to be a leader, leading from the front, really understanding that the nature of your businesses are changing, and really the importance of you leading and getting into those changes. As I talk about these emerging technologies today, we're really going to talk about it more so from innovation at the edge of your business. I have to make it tangible. I have to make this practical to you. It has to be pragmatic. It cannot be everyone thinks immersive technologies are about putting headsets on your head. So I'm going to take you through some of the places we've been spending time with a lot of our GBS or shared services capabilities, really understanding how to drop cost out their business,
how to mostly drive collaboration and really be an experience focused. If there's one step I want you to imagine, it is really what you could do to actually do something as simple as I did. So moving towards unlimited reality could mean for you, instead of having your next town hall on a Zoom or in Teams or even filmed from one location, you might be able to say, how might I, instead of me traveling across Denmark, be in China, be in India, be in Switzerland, be in England, engaging my employees just like you saw me moving through that. Back to experiences. That is really, really important when you think about the scale of your organizations and how might you actually put a reality experience on top of how everyone's just operating today to deliver a new experience there. So there's a couple of stats I just want to share with you. And of these three, there's just a couple that I want to highlight. The first is probably not, I mean, everyone knows this, 60% of people are online. And that means even within your organization, you need to think about you're employing lots of consumers who are fighting for attention from other brands. So even as people are working with your companies right now, they are engaging in other bits of online. How might you capture some of that back as productivity into your company? The second stack is around 50%. 50% of the population that are really wanting these experiences are in your workforces now. That means you no longer can decide if you're going to show up and elect into innovation. And now it's back to thinking about, well, then what is that practical first safe step for you when every day you're reading about Gen AI, every day you're reading about the Metaverse. My goal today is that you would never, ever reference Web3 or Metaverse because it doesn't really mean anything. But if you think about enhancing experiences, taking what is known as 2D and creating a 3D environment is really what we're talking about. So I'm going to walk you through 3 of our fields of play, and I'd like for you to sort of think about what your role is in disruption. And this is not like the cool, non-practical, disruption we're really talking about. This is like your business is changing and how your employees want to be engaged, how you will need to collaborate, the tools that your organizations will need to be able to drive sort of those cost goals, to be able to think about centralization, to maybe change even the whole story around what outsourcing might really mean. There is a nature of disruption, which I think of as just completely doing something different than you've done before. I think there's a really practical way to think about that. And then what your role is. GBS and shared services are no longer back office. We talked about that last year anyways. It is really the space where we see the leverage of this taking place most often because you're running operations. You're running operations. So the first I'm going to talk about is really experience. I'm going to show you a demo that we're using that really just talks about how not just athletes, but actually just the human would like to see things in a different environment, and then think about how that can be applied for you. I have some examples that I'll talk about after I take you through this demo, but this is really just about the economy of you figuring out how to drive different experiences that, oh, by the way, that can help you with P&L performance.
You can experience both the US Open and the US Women's Open from a new dimension with US Open AR built by Deloitte. Check out 3D views of every shot during championship play. Create your own augmented reality viewing experience by comparing player shots on all 18 holes. Even immerse yourself in storied USGA history, all using one app. So take a stroll down every fairway. Download the US Open AR app today.
Okay, so something super basic. It is now, how do we actually take some of the privilege around not being able to be physically somewhere? That is actually really relevant to your business. If you think about in a global businesses, there's a hub, or you may have many hubs, but there is a nature of privilege being located in one of those hubs because you might be closer to the leadership team, you might get picked for different example or for different activities that you have that are going on, and that you have this sort of distance bias that's sort of happening across your scaled organizations. So how might a leader now use some of this technology to create more equitable engagement across their organizations, including engaging their supplier ecosystem by thinking about bringing together multiple geos, multiple locations in a way that they haven't before, and then providing an equal experience. That is simply what we did in that golf example, but they're really, really applicable to your businesses as well. The second field of play we have is around augmented workforce experiences. So that's doing a few different things. That's thinking about how might you actually create more collaboration at scale. You might have different parts of your organizations working on different time zones. You might have a need to make different announcements. You might have a need to actually get more insight of what people are sending Zoom messages and Teams messages on. So how might you actually build a virtual campus? How might you build virtual headquarters? We're working with an organization in Finland right now that would actually even think about building a virtual children's hospital for people that are in the Ukraine. So everyone's thinking about when you don't have access, how might you bring the physical nature of that asset to people that may or may not be able to get there. Augmented workforce experiences also takes training and development to a next level. This is innovation around the edge. So this is what you're not hearing me say is this now replaces how everyone learns. What you are hearing me say is that for that population where you want to provide a different experience, you can actually use this to do some training instead of having an online compliance, instead of having your typical sort of safety mechanisms, or even if you think about things like ServiceNow, where the workflows are still quite two-dimensional, you can now create a virtual space to say, when people are putting tickets in, I actually can create a space where people can respond to them, or I can actually visualize some of the workflows that are happening. So I'm going to show you an example now that we've done around how compliance training took off for one of our clients. So could you imagine, and I'm sure none of you do this, but when you're at work and you get that compliance training, and you think, I'm going to do this compliance training, I'm going to check some emails, I'm going to get the compliance training going, I'm going to wait till the guy stops talking, I'm going to progress the slide, I'm going to take some tests because I know they just want me to finish the test, and then I'll get on with the safety training. I know no one else does that here. But could you imagine being able to actually drive the learning and the awareness that you want to do because you actually are engaging in a different way? So you might notice that that training was gamified, and it also sort of resonates with like some of your behaviors that are happening outside of work. So it is still sort of the same nature of really trying to drive training, but the engagement is like 37%, that if you can actually gamify it, you might actually just deliver that training and awareness that you're looking to do. So another reason to think about what gamified immersive technology is, and you may notice that these are all in augmented reality. So this technology is not about putting a headset on that I mentioned before, but it is about taking something that might just be a typical text that you would see in a different training site and being able to visualize it in a way so that you can retain the engagement to actually deliver the ultimate outcome that you're looking for. That's the practicality of what I'm really talking about. The last thing I'm going to take you through is around operations. So if you think about digital twin, if you think about supply chains, if you think about network operations, if you think about the need to actually model things and simulate things in the 3D space, it usually comes with constraint, and that constraint is typically budget. That constraint is typically talent. Do you have the skill set to do the simulations and the models, to be able to understand how you might, in a contact center, reevaluate a schedule, or actually automate tasks in a way to redeploy those employees into different areas? What we've done is we've taken what we've typically done around digital twin, and we've turned them into 3D. So we call them product twins, or enterprise simulation. Enterprise simulation because it actually can drive sort of more forecasting, better modeling across your business, anywhere from being in logistics, anywhere from being with our retail clients that are looking at how they might remodel a store, move goods around without having to pay overtime or to hire in extra help to be able to do that, or actually by being able to predict what next best actions might be for the military, which is what we're currently doing right now. So I'm going to show you an example of a virtual factory that we built. You'll be able to see the analytics. So think about in GBS when you want to have sort of like analytics as a service and you want to be able to provide that to your organization. Wouldn't it be really cool to be able to build your virtual engine room? Instead of having people sort of aggregate spreadsheets together, oh, here's someone amazing in Excel, here's some data scientists. Could you imagine actually building a physical engine room where you can see real-time insights into what's happening across your organization simply because you've figured out how to take the internet and turn it into 3D?
Welcome to the Digital Thread. Here you'll see key use cases of how the product's design, build, and life phases are streamlined and interconnected through the marvels of the digital thread and the digital twin. Through this dashboard, you see the environment where product designers of the future will be working in. The product designer has real-time access to every risk and issue that these products are reporting. All can be achieved 100% virtually without wasting a gram of material. This is the operations dashboard of the Smart Factory Control Tower. Smart Factory enables informed decisions at lightning speeds. Here we are going to manufacture our urgent order. The AR-enabled work instructions enable the worker to assemble a new product mistake-free for the first time in their life without any prior training because they are guided every step along the way. The customer has received their product and is very excited to take them out for a swim. As the customer is racing with their RoboDuck, the digital twin of this duck will provide real-time feedback to the customer. The digital twin helps the customer repair key modules of the RoboDuck before they are broken, rather than after the fact. Along with the digital twin, the digital thread optimizes and enhances all aspects of the product lifecycle, from the product designer to the end customer, continuously improving the design of the future products to come.
So actual real-time operations. So as I mentioned before, we're working with the military on being able to do simulation in a way that they haven't been able to do before. If you think about the Navy, they're actually really good at being able to simulate things like fighter jets and being able to take off. All of that has always been done 2.0. So it's always been done sort of in a flat surface looking at sort of static images, but actually being able to bring that to life and then be able to drive costs out of their business, but most importantly, really the morale of their talent that's taken off each of those areas. That's really what you see in that, and it's across any kind of business, right? Where you have a lot of movement, you need a lot of real-time data, but most importantly, you're able to be prescriptive in your recommendations in a way that you never have before. So I've taken you across what we call our 3 fields of play, and I believe because we've been doing this about 7 years now, we've been experimenting. We've recently just launched this formally because we do believe in scaling things safely. We believe in having really practical conversations when our clients are starting to ask us, like, what is this metaverse thing, and should we get into it? Moving you closer to this in a very safe and recognizable way is the most important thing to me, which is why I started with maybe for you, that's just delivering a town hall or an employee meeting. The last time I checked, the more familiar you get with something is through the time that you spend with it. And I think when we think about innovation in GBS services, I would really love to see each of you starting to spend time with these things that are innovation on the edge, not because you love it, you may love it, but it actually is business critical. It's really business critical now. So this is a bit of a toolkit. These are all sort of buzzwords that you're hearing right now, but I want to sort of make them really like plain Jane to you. AI. In many of our metaverse experiences, we are using AI. AI are really sort of those tasks that require human intelligence. That's it. We've sort of skipped some sort of way over AI and went straight to Gen AI and forgot about machine learning, which actually sits right in the middle of both of those technologies. I would encourage you to actually understand if you have a data strategy before you start to think about AI, because it's actually part of that. And most importantly, I would think about what are the experiences as a leader that you can start to provide to your organization versus sort of just the productivity that you may be able to drive out. Through experiences, you're going to get the efficiency and the productivity that you're looking for if you start with your employees first. The second thing is around virtual reality. This is just simply some internet technology that does require a headset, and it actually is fully immersive. So it is not really the reality. It is usually inviting you into a space that feels like the reality, taking you through an experience that could be quite fantasy-driven, or you could bring in the senses, like you see where people are starting to do surgeries through spatial. So that is the difference between VR and then AR, which is augmented reality. In augmented reality, you basically are taking real spaces, like you saw me. So I was at Newhound, I was at War Pigs, I was near the seas, and you literally just put that on top. You put that on top of reality experiences. That is where you're going to see most of this happening. So when people start to talk to you about how you're bringing this into your organization, just know it's going to be mostly augmented reality. It is going to be taking you practically looking at your business and then putting some technology on top of it, simply to deliver a different enhanced experience. So thank you for obliging at the end of the day in a topic on innovation. It is important to think about what is your challenge as a leader to imagine? Or did you just see those words when you signed up for this conference and thought, oh, that sounds cool this year? Or did you really say, how am I really actually going to leverage my time here and think about what my role is to imagine a different reality that is here for your businesses? And then how do you actually think about your role in participating in innovation? It is not just a technology organization. It is not just your CDO. It is also just not about your CEO's strategy. You have a role in thinking about net new experiences to bring to your organization that enhances your employees' experience first, but then also has a byproduct of driving out costs and driving up productivity, and then impact. All of those things together. If you really keep your employee at the center of it, all the financial performance, all of the scale that you're addressing will take care of itself. So we have put a tote bag on the sides of your chairs. I think most of you have seen it. There is an AR experience in that. This is your first step in moving towards testing the technology. We just did this even as Deloitte. We had our CEO announce a partner conference, and that guy ended up in some really interesting spaces, including near a rail and a toilet. And we're like, Richard, we know we love you, but this was not the intent of this. So think about how you might really take care of these technologies in your business, and please feel free to look at more use cases that we have out in the Innovation Hub. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, real Lisa, and thank you, virtual Lisa, or automated Lisa, as I renamed her. Really interesting and a great topic to finish the day. We have heard a lot about different technologies, and we haven't spent a lot of time today, and so thank you for picking it up.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. And the Q&A will be in the studio.